So, hey everybody, I have the legendary Swedish Delight, who got top four at Pound 2016 here today. Thank you for
Hey,
coming in. How are you doing?
thanks. I'm doing pretty good. Good day at work, I guess. It wasn't like it wasn't the worst, but like I was able to chat with my manager and all that. Everyone's having a fun time. It was
So,
like oh
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
oh yeah. It was also like since I'm graduating soon and a lot of us are graduating soon. Like we're all going to happy hours like in weeks in succession to like celebrate all of our last days. So I'll be finishing that within a month ish, so too.
So, in that last sentence, you are impressing me a lot because other top players, take melee full time, whereas you're playing melee. What else are you doing with your life to
Oh yeah,
juggle everything?
so Oh yeah, so right now I'm a senior in college. I'm gonna be graduating soon, but like I'm part of a few clubs. I'm part of the Chem Society at Rutgers. I had to help start that up again. Or I started the Smash Club at Rutgers too. And like I'm not doing it that much anymore because we transitioned to new e-board. And then I'm also part of like honor societies and all that.
So, from what I hear, you're some sort of science degree. Are you in the med field?
Oh yeah, so I'm a chemistry major right now. I did a lot of chemistry research back in the day. So instead of like playing Smash, I was mainly doing that. This is the first year I really traveled for Smash, and that's mainly because I don't do as much research anymore and only focus on my internship at Colgate. And yeah, I'm trying to get into med school. That's not working out so well. But that's like more of like not because I'm not good, it's more because like I didn't know how to apply early on and they've go on a rolling basis. And
Oof.
so yeah, I have one waiting on me right now, and that's probably not gonna work out. But then I could travel again to play Smash, so who knows? I really don't know what I'm gonna be doing uh, so far in the summer and in the fall. So I'll just be waiting.
Well, that's cool. I mean, a lot of people take that year off. They do like EMT or they do some stuff to buff up their resume. So it's like a pretty
Right?
normal thing.
Yeah, that's what Abu did. He took a year off after graduating to like apply and like get good test scores, and he's going to med school next year.
Ooh, that's impressive. We have a little. We're gonna have actual doctors from the community. That's really cool. So, how did you first get into melee? The first I've heard of you was actually not of you, but of your brother, Mr. F, who I
Oh
lost
yeah,
to at pools.
at Apex 2012 was that the first time you heard of him? And me, I guess too.
Yeah, because he beat me and he used every gimmick in the book to get rest that I
Oh
wasn't
yeah, I
expecting.
saw that set, dude. You know, we were like actually okay. So I guess I'll start from the beginning. So I started around 2008 because that's when my brother started getting into it, and he basically made me play with him because he wanted to get good. It's like, hey, I need a practice partner. Like I love this game so much. You're gonna play with me because I want to get good. And in the end, like I really liked it too. I was a Samus main back then. We went to our first tournament that summer. I think I already graduated by then, or graduated eighth grade. I mean, so I was pretty young. I was the youngest one there at the first tournament. It was hosted by Eggum in an Italian restaurant. And I was basically not doing anything at all other than like hanging out with my brother and all that. But then Eggum came up to me during just like the beginning of pools and it was like, hey, what's up? My name's Eggum. Timothy Cody. Like, you're really young, but like, hey, it's okay. Like, I'm glad you're here. So really, because of how friendly he was, and he like talked to me on AIM chat afterwards, he helped me out with my Samus play because that was my main back then, and I was only able to play one round in pools that tournament too because of oh yeah, my parents would drove us there, so we had to get picked up. And like after that, I started getting into it more like myself, and so I like was more enthusiastic while playing with my brother, and I tried to get a lot better too. And then yeah, then I guess time went on. We just kept on playing. And then Apex 2012. I was not actually Swedish Delight at that time. I was Captain Jamie. And before that, I was Boy because I was a really young boy. Then Swedish Delight came about, I think, it might have been actually Apex 2012 was my first time using that name. But that's because Kev Sue gave it to me. He's Bird Bus Driver. And I got to credit the name to him with that. And then after I did okay, in like locals and whatnot, G Money and the Moon would just be like, "Hey, you're Swedish Delight. You can't change it anymore because yeah, that's what we know you as now." And I think I'm getting the timeline wrong, like within a year, but it's around that time where just because I was placing better, I stopped getting known as Captain Jaime, Captain Jamie, and they just called me Swedish Delight.
So I was remembering. I think the very first like set that kind of put you on the map was that one where you beat hacks and winners. But when did you start thinking that like, hey, I'm like pretty good at this game?
Oh wow. Really, that was a really weird set. For that was in 2013, like in the beginning at a Smashaker in New Jersey, and that was really weird. So actually, that was never like the first time I played hacks. I played them when I was younger too, when I was Captain Jaime. Like I used to play Fox. Like he wrecked me. There's a set on YouTube actually where he did like an amazing combo on Rainbow Cruise. Um, and then actually, I thought that was the start of when I thought I could be pretty good at this game. It's because like after the set happened, even though Hacks 2 owed me, he was like, "Hey, you're pretty good at this game." I was like, "Oh, thanks." And I think that's because like he saw that I was like really young too, and that he's also really young, so we like a little bit of connection there. And the time I switched to Sheik was also a turning point too. So that was in like December 2012 at NEC in Philadelphia, and I was actually a Falco main back then. And I was trying to warm up against Chillin' Dude with Eggum, and when I went Falco against Eggum, he's like, "No, you can't play Falco right now. I saw your Sheik in doubles, even though you're having fun with it. Your Sheik is much better. Like you gotta go Sheik against Chillin' Dude." And so I played Sheik, and then I got 2-0'd against Chillin', I was like, wow, that was really dumb. I could have definitely done better as Falco. But then he just kept on telling me to go Sheik. So I just kept on going Sheik. And later on in losers bracket, I fought Eggum and I beat him 2-1, which is the first time like I ever beat Eggum in 5 years of playing. And yeah, he got pretty angry and I felt pretty good about myself too. Cause like, whoa, I've never beaten him before. And even though he was like Johnning and like, oh, I didn't warm up, he was there longer than I was. Like he was there actually like playing all the time. And that was really that was like the start of my Sheik career. I only used her before as like against Marth because I didn't know what I was doing back then. And I faced Hacks immediately after too. And I actually did not play Sheik against Hacks because I heard that was his best matchup, Falcon versus Sheik. So I went Falco and lost 2-0. And then okay, the set you talked about at Smashaker when I went Sheik, that was just like a huge surprise to me. I didn't think I would actually do well against him. That's why I still went Falco in game two and lost. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll go Sheik then for like now on for every character. So yeah, I guess that you're right in that it was a turning point too. And then I got 3-1 in losers finals against Hacks, and it's like there's a clip in like GR Smash and like all these combo videos of Hacks just triple kneeing me. So that's I think where people really saw me is just getting triple kneed.
Nice. Yeah, I remember that video. It was on Yoshi's, right?
Yeah. Oh man, I felt that's just like a like once he got the second knee, the third knee is just coming. That's a real combo. Like I wasn't surprised at all, but everyone was just so ecstatic about it. That was rough. It definitely hurt.
So fast forward, you're now starting to enter a lot more events. Like, what was your routine? How did you fit Smash into, like, everything? Because you've been to, like, or did you just primarily go to the local regionals and then just, like, one national year?
Yeah. So I basically when I was young, because yeah. So I've been playing the game for a while. I used to play a lot in high school, my and middle school. When my brother was here. And then Kurt would still be around, kind of, because he would commute to college from his house. So I would just be playing friendlies with him, like on the weekends and whatnot. But really, I think until this, like 2015 year, I didn't do much other than going to nationals and all that. Like the first time I ever uh, really traveled other than like Evo was last year. I took a carpool down to Badman Rising in North Carolina, and that was really like when I started like being okay with traveling. And just because I thought like I'm always just making ninth place all the time at like Zenith regionals like over the past few years, or at least 2014 and 2013. And then I got ninth place again at Badminton Rising. I was like, well, I feel like as long as I keep on going at it, and it's like I felt like at a point I was good enough in skill level. I just needed to play better at the right time that I would do well. So that was actually so that's the end of my junior year, and I'm thinking, oh, senior year's coming up. I have to go out with like all I can because this might be my last chance to play Smash for a while. Slash like, well, why not? I haven't been doing Smash that much in college anyway, so that's when I really started traveling in the summer and like this fall this when I hate headphones also. That's why I don't really use headphones during tournaments. I tried it once at Badminton Rising and then I just took them off. So, um, yeah, I just started traveling like once a month to tournaments since the summer, and I think here I am now.
So how'd you get good then? Like, if you didn't travel, like, who are your practice partners? What's this Burt gaming? And then like, you go to nationals, you always make some sort of upset. So like, how'd you like get good?
Like I really don't know what I'm doing, and like how, cause like I didn't actually play that much, and then this fall was the only time like I started practicing on my own. So before Big House, like September to October was the first time like I would actually play against computers for like 10, 15 minutes a day, just like get movement down, get the tech down, and um, I really think the biggest reason why I guess I got good was because I never got worse. I didn't think my problem was tech skill based. Even though I play Sheik, yeah, like all right, he Sheik doesn't take as much tech skill as the other characters. I think I would still do fine if I were probably better if I was like Fox and Falco still, if I put in the same amount of time. But it was more like I had to learn more matchups and what exactly worked against other people, and that really just became I think I got that way just by being friends with smarter people than me. So I would talk to Zoso a lot, who was definitely like on the east, around our area, one of the smartest guys. And then I talked to Jug Fox like last year, and he's definitely also another incredibly smart guy. And just like hanging out with better people than me and just listening to what they say. Oh, and Cactuar. Yeah, Cactuar is definitely like the reason why everyone got good, and for sure another reason why I got good in like Apex 2015. So I sat down with him and like practiced with him and just talked about like, oh, what can I do as Sheik? Sheik doesn't have like any options against a lot of characters. So after like talking to him and just like thinking about cool things slash like I just had to play really just have to play solid and not worry about I shouldn't worry about doing bad things, just make sure you do good things. And just like talking to them, it's like, oh, you have all these options, just make sure you do those. Then I just figured, okay, I'll just do what they say. So I just follow what they say and I just execute it.
What was it?
And then what were the other questions? It was like,
Uh,
what's Bird Gaming?
yeah, what is Burt? Because
Oh,
like,
Bird Gaming
that's your
is just,
sponsor, right? Or your
oh
team?
yeah. Yeah, well, it's a Bert Bus Driver, he's our CEO slash manager. So basically, he helped us out like with hotel rooms for like nationals all that. He always like books the hotel room for Evo, and then he also buys the pizza and food when we're at tournaments. So he's just a good guy. It's not like actually our real sponsor. It's like we're the best friends from town. Like we're all basically from Homeville, and it's like whoever is our friend from nearby too is also part of our team.
So it's just a group of friends, pretty much, and you get
Right.
pizza.
Yeah, yeah, and hotel room. So like he actually does try to like help us out a lot too. Because um other than me, there aren't really that many people in my group that are traveling. So he really wants us to because he lives in California now. We're all spread out after living in the same town
Yeah.
since like elementary school. So he really just wants us to, like meet up once in a while to like have fun. And that's like that energy really helps us out too.
Yeah, I've met Burt Bus Driver because I used to live in NorCal too. So I've played him in bracket a fair share amount of times. So how's it
Yeah.
been?
So how,
How's the experience been for you? Because now you travel more than once a year. You know, you're going to more events. How's that experience been?
dude, it's been awesome. Like I just love hanging out with people I met throughout like the country. So yeah, I really had to like I wouldn't be able to meet so many people from like so many different parts of the country, from the world without Smash. And I just really appreciate that. So like during finals last year, in May, Nintendo would actually message me and say like, "Hey, come to Shell Shock. It's like it's gonna be like the biggest Maryland tournament in a while, and we won't have many like for quite some time. And like I really want to team with you, so can you come down?" I'm like, "Dude, I have finals," and I was just like, "Oh well, I haven't been to University of Maryland before. I haven't uh, like I'll probably be able to do fine in my finals anyway." So I actually drove by myself down like 3 hours just like play doubles. We didn't even win, but like I still had a good time. I lost to the moon twice that tournament too. And I was like, wow, okay. I didn't do that well anyway, but I still had a good time because like Drug Fox was there. I got to play him. I got to talk to him. And yeah, I just really appreciate talking to all the guys that I meet.
So are you like the secret West Bulls counter? Like, what is it about
Um,
you and SoCal and defeating us? Like, you beat Johnny at that one Apex in losers because for some reason you lost to Harriet the guy.
well, Harriet's good. It's
Yeah,
Fox.
and then but then you keep beating West Bulls out of nowhere. Well, like,
Oh well, I just feel like one I wasn't as good. That was Apex 2013, and Harriet's definitely a solid guy, and like I was definitely still dealing with tournament nerves at that period of time. And then Johnny got DQ'd from winners into losers, and because he woke up too late, so he's like pretty mad all the time. So he got his revenge on me at the summit, and then we had like a weird game 5. So we're just like, like we talked about it after. And I was just like, like you had a weird bout at Apex. I had a little weird thing at Summit, so it's like basically even. And we're really good friends. And like whenever we see each other at tournaments, we're happy to see each other.
hmm.
Um, and then West Balls, yeah, I just think he doesn't. Yeah, he's just not good against Sheik. I feel like in the terms of like, okay, he can combo Sheik to death, which like every space he should be able to do, but he doesn't respect the fact that I can also do a lot of damage to him if I get opportunities. So the reason I find like other Falcos and Fox like harder than West Balls is because they actually run away, and I can't catch a Spacey like with She because she doesn't have very good approaches. But the West Ball just keeps on coming towards me, so I'm just like, okay, like sure, I'll deal with it.
Hmm.
And that's what Ladantis did too. I told him like, yeah, Westball just keeps on coming up to me. I don't like really worry about uh try to like do some any sort of fancy movement to like trick him. He's already like coming like he's already making himself in a bad position. And that's what Ladantis did. He just did exactly what I did in the videos he watched at Super Nets and then Ladantis won 2-1 at Pound.
Hmm. So your comfort is like playing defensive reactive. They make the first move and then you just react. But if they don't make the first move, that's where it's a little bit difficult for you.
Oh yeah, I definitely feel that way because she has like no options to approach. I feel like I'm so helpless whenever like Fox runs away and stuff. Like I'm okay with Fox going away to laser because then they're just like cornering themselves. It's like how when like you see a Fox try to laser cam Hungry Box, they just get wrecked. That's because like they don't have much space to move around. So when they do the same thing, I'm fine. But when they start baiting and like doing a lot more full hops, slash like mixing up things. So I think the perfect example of that is like SFAT. He's definitely the best in that matchup. And then Hacks also when he's awake. The problem is Hacks relies too much on like fast things. So like when he's not in the best mood, he can't do that well in that matchup.
Have you ever played
As we
Leffen?
saw. I did play Leffen at FC Return, but he didn't. We both didn't play that well. That said, it was like our first match of the day at 10 a.m.
Mm.
So like he still won, but it wasn't like anything special. It was more like a regular Fox versus Sheik type thing. Like there was nothing like you could look back on that set and it's like, wow, that was really good play. Like you can't be wowed at anything at that.
Mm.
It was just okay.
So you're good against Falcos that approach against you. The Foxes that bait you are a little bit more difficult. But you struggled. You had this like mental block against Falcon for a while. Can you tell me about that?
Oh,
Like
so
Wizzy, for example.
I don't think I really had a mental block against him. I definitely didn't do. When did I play him? The first time was at Badman Rising, and Like, I think if anything, when I beat Wizzy slash, I've only played him twice, or no, three times, because one there was a K-Tar he went to, and that was a mess of a K-Tar thing, and like we can all ignore that because that was the one that like Smash 4 just came out, and we played like round two before midnight, and so that's okay for me losing. At Badminton Rising though, he just that was a really good tournament for him, and I definitely wasn't playing that well, but when Wizzy is on point, I feel like there's nothing I can do, especially Falcon versus Sheik, because after like Falcon gets one grab on you, like at zero, you're gonna get 20%, and then he's gonna tech chase more, like after that, with not with down throw, but like up throw and stuff. So I feel like, well, all he has to do is just tech chase me after one grab, I'm gonna die. And as long as he's perfect, then yeah, he's gonna win. So that's what happened at Badminton Rising, like almost four stock me game two. And then at Big House when I beat him, he just didn't play as perfect as he did, so I was able to win. I don't think I really have a mental block against Falcon,
Mm.
per se. I just think he's really good, and he's pretty good against Sheik too. It's just like I have to play very. I think I had to play much better as Sheik in order to win that matchup.
I see. Smash Summit was a year ago, and it's coming around the corner. What was your experiences like at that event and getting
Oh,
in?
oh, definitely getting in was like one of the worst experiences in my life. Slash one of like the most like introspective. Like I learned a lot about just like my friends and the people like who support me
Wait,
and
what do you,
myself.
what do you, elaborate on that?
Okay, so basically I wanted to try to like so they came out with Smash Summit after Big House, and I really felt like, wow, I've never been to LA before, so I really want to go. And wow, this sounds like a great event, and it's like possible for me to win as long as like I get all the support from my like friends in college slash like my coworkers slash my friends from high school. So uh, yeah, that was real. That was definitely the most effort I put into Smash because I was basically working slash like getting trying to get votes like any possible time I could. So every single day, like for the Twitter voting, I would like go up to my friends like, "Hey, do you have a Twitter?" Slash like, "Can I make you a Twitter if you don't have one?" To like vote for me. So I actually went up to like individual people to do that. And then like so after a few days of that, I did that at school. I went on Facebook and just like went and then also at work, I try to get all my coworkers to do it too, or as many as I could, the younger guys and girls. So I barely scraped through that first round. I think I got like 18th or 19th. I forget how many people were actually voted into Twitter that first time because
I
it
think
was
it was like 20 or something.
it might have been 20 or 25, but I was definitely not top 15. I remember that. Um, but yeah, once the money came, that was just like really crappy because we were like, wait, why do we have to pay for it? That was the first time we saw anything like, oh, money equals votes. This is really bad type thing. Um, yeah, and there was a lot of criticism in the beginning from a lot of members of the community. It's like, oh, we shouldn't have to like pay in order to get someone in, or like this isn't fair because if you have more money, it's more votes. Um, but yeah, in the end, I I was like I had to just convince myself like even though it's not a good system, I still had to get people to I still had to convince people to vote for me with like $5 and like all right, I paid for a lot myself too. Like I bought a sweater package and then like I made like with every single work slash school slash personal email I had, I made an account through that and like paid $5. So I spent like $100 myself through that. And then a lot of people in my fraternity supported me. In my at my hometown again, I just had to like thank all the people for that. And then um, in Bird Gaming, one of our members made a website just to like track how many votes I needed to like get into a spot. So it's basically like, oh, so you should like need this number of votes if you have a new account and donate this much money. You need like this many accounts and this much money to donate to get into that spot. Um, and also a lot of my friends they weren't familiar with Smash GG, so I actually got one of my friends to make a video on how to like create an account and donate to me. basically. So it's just like a 2 3 minute video just saying like, oh, you just click these buttons and just write any tag. A lot of people were confused like what's a gamer tag? Like these are the type of people I had to convince to help support me. And luckily I just been like I have that option because I haven't really just been playing Smash in college. I did a lot of like research in clubs and stuff. And yeah, it just had to be me putting in a lot of work. And then I was really down at points because it was really stressful seeing people eliminated, slash like my name would be in the red a lot of time. Um, but yeah, I felt like one of my friends really helped me out in my honors society. Her name's Marie. She's an angel. So she like wrote me like long paragraphs. I was like, hey, you're putting in a lot of work. Um, and even though the system like kind of sucks that you have to convince people to get money, but it's okay to like you've worked so much for other people throughout your life that it's okay to like for other people to support you in your time of need. And basically, as long as I still tried as hard as they did, well, I had to try harder, obviously. But as long as I put in effort still, then people will still support me and they'll be happy to like donate money to me and see me at the summit. And that's eventually what happened. I got in round two through the voting, and that also took a lot of money from like Spirit Bonds in New Jersey. And I actually don't know what exactly went on. A lot of people organized behind the scenes. I know NJIT and like Sun 2 helped organize a lot throughout the state, and I have to thank them too. So yeah, it took a lot of effort on me. Like that was definitely the most amount of time I spent during Smash. It wasn't even playing Smash.
So, you're at that Wednesday orientation. You see the All Star lineup, at Smash Summit. Like, how did that feel to be a part of that group?
Oh, really? I wasn't like too starstruck because I've already met all of them before. The last person I think I met was PP at Badman Rising, and I was able to. So my first interaction with him was was basically before the day started. I went to Snapchat at Rutgers and sent in a Snapchat to a guy called Rutgers Bananas with me holding a banana and like everyone in my hotel room like Nintendo and Curve. And then he actually recognized Nintendo from Smash and he's like, oh dude, you had to go to PPMD and give him a banana. And so I took a Snapchat of that and with PP. And after that, I knew everyone from the summit. So when I was there, it was just like a really happy reunion for me because I thought all of them were such cool guys and like I could learn from them not only just through Smash but like how they are in life and whatnot. What's really funny, I found like the person I learned most from at at the summit was none other than Mewtwo King. Even though I used to play him all the time in New Jersey at tournaments, he would go to like every local and sweep for the money back in the day when he was still around. But he just talks so much during friendlies, and he's just trying to figure things out. Like even if you're not there, he'll try to figure things out, and he'll just say his thoughts. And whenever I'm there, I'm just like, okay, that's what I need to do. Oh, that's what you're trying to do. So all I did was just copy Music King again. That goes back to what I was talking about, like, oh, how did I get good? I copied Lozo, I copied Junkbox, and I copied Music King. So that was funny for me.
So I didn't really get to preview the friendlies room that they had upstairs. So was Muta King the guy that you played with the most, or did you get to play with other people?
I got to play with other people too. I actually was like the first person to play friendlies with PP. I was like, wow, this is such a great experience. And then there are not that many setups because like you saw at the house, there are other people there too, other than in the tournament. So I got to play with them. But yeah, so there was like 6 to 7 setups for like 20 people. So not all of us could play at once, but it was okay. I hung out with Andrew Ng a lot too. I got to know him better from Showdown Smash. Oh, he's now at HTC Esports, right? So
Yeah.
congrats to him. So yeah, like I was okay with not playing at times because yeah, as I said before, I don't really play the game as much. I feel like that's more of like an attention span thing. I don't feel like I'm benefiting as much if I play for a long time. I just need to play in like bursts. Um, but yeah, it was really fun to even if I wasn't playing in the friendly zone, people were still hanging out there too. Like Shun was doing his work there, like on his laptop when he needed to.
Did you overall like? Did you have a good time? What were some of your favorite moments at being at the summit?
Oh wow! So definitely, it was the best tournament experience of my life because they really pampered us at Beyond the Summit. Like the manager or like the person who was like directing all the players and all that, like through emails and all that. Her name was Grace. She was great. I was like the last one to be picked up at the airport because I had class, and I missed like the first preview day, and I was like, I have no idea what's going on. But like, Grace picked me up from the airport. I explained everything along the way, and then every time we just like had idle time, there was always a staff member around to see like how are we doing. It's like, hey, do you need more food? Do you need more water? Oh, we have a fridge stocked with like snacks and all that. Just help yourself. So the fact that I felt like I could basically be as comfortable as I want was like an amazing experience. Like at nationals now, I had to like really just keep track of what I'm doing myself and just like, oh, I had to make sure I eat or like at this certain time, or else like I won't be able to eat for like the rest of the day. So I just had like all that stress was gone, and then just being in SoCal, it's so much prettier than New Jersey. Like it was such a nice house on like it was actually on a mountain and it like overlooked the entire valley. And I was like, wow, this is beautiful. Like I wish I could be here all the time. And this is November and it was like hella cold in New Jersey, like freezing at that point. I was like, this is definitely like it's like a Hollywood movie. And even yeah, that's where like Hollywood is, right? SoCal.
Yeah,
It's like, oh wow. Yeah, I can't believe that's actually the place.
it's funny because we're slowly stealing people from all over the U.S. into Cali. Zoo, Cactar, and now Nintendo have all recently
Oh yeah,
moved.
that's fine. Well, like at first I was like all for NorCal because like all of like so like Bird Gaming is there, like Kevsu's there, and then I knew quite a few people there too. But at Genesis, I felt like wow, the weather is a lot worse, and I really don't like Caltrain. So I was just like definitely I would go to SoCal now, if anything. Sorry, NorCal.
Yeah.
The food was I think the food was better though at NorCal, so I can't really tell
I have to show
like
you
which I
some.
like
I
more.
have to show you some spots in SoCal and drive you around.
Okay, yeah. So the food we got at Summit was definitely like we just needed as much food as we could. It was still good, but it's just like I definitely did have like the best dining options. So like sit down restaurant, like I have that fresh food type thing.
Yeah, I have to show you around the next time you come.
Cool.
So, what did you leave with? Like, did you notice like a big improvement when you left, or what? What did you notice?
Mm,
Anything? Any changes, or did it just feel like the same afterwards?
let me think. I don't think I learned too much in terms of like other than like, I definitely learned more about like how to take care of myself at a tournament because again, this is like a completely different physical experience compared to every other national and whatnot. So I learned like, oh, I definitely can't eat like burgers, like three burgers right before I play in my tournament set. So like that's what I did before I played PP. I was like, wow, In-N-Out is pretty good. So and there's like 100 burgers just for us. I'm like, I might as well eat more. And yeah, so physically, I learned how to take care of myself better, which I think is the real reason why I'm doing better at tournaments now. And I think just like learning more about like again, just like talking to Mitsu King too. But that's like I've done that before. It's not that much more of an improvement. Um, but also what I guess another like really important thing I learned was that all the players are just like even though like they're gods and stuff, they're also people too. So I got to hang out with them. They're like, no matter what they do in game, like out of game, they're still like people that you can, like they have interests, they have aspirations, you know. So once I like got to like know more about them, I wasn't really afraid of playing them as much. I was like, oh, you know what? They're just like cool guys, you know. They're just really good at this game too and put in a lot of effort. And they're nothing like they're not like inhumanly impossible to beat, basically.
Mm.
They're just very good, for sure.
So, flash forward ahead. You go to the summit. You have some close sets, shenanigans. You could have gone further. That pause. Um,
Yeah.
your recent success has been mostly noted due to your doubles with Slocks. Tell me a little bit about how that started.
Oh, yeah. So that was, yeah, definitely Pound or Genesis 3, right? That was the first time like we teamed at national before. We teamed locally before, and at first I just felt very comfortable with him. We won the first
Nebulous Prime.
Neds.
Mm.
Yeah, we won the first Nebulous Prime together against DJ Moon. I felt like, wow, this was like really, really easy compared to like teaming with other people. I'm like, I felt very comfortable. It wasn't like easy in terms of like the opponents were bad. It was more like I felt very comfortable with like strategy and talking and playing my best when I was with them at the time.
Did
So
you
like, I
feel
hope we
like
could.
so like what makes good synergy? Because some people just say we have good synergy, but nobody knows what that means. Like, does he make it easy for you? Does he give you the space you want? What does that mean? Like in gameplay?
Mm, mainly, mainly I feel like one, he's Fox, so he's the best character ever. So that's like a huge difference. Like really, that makes a lot of difference. Then two, it's well, whenever we do like we actually combo very well together. We care more about like positioning, and so like if for example instead of like chasing someone off, if someone's closer, they'll just like take the hit, right? Or they'll get the hit instead. So I felt like we had like a little connection there, but we also just like we're friends, so we're able to talk to each other very easily and just say like, "Oh, you're doing bad," and get each other back into shape. And I think that was definitely the most important part, where we can just be comfortable with like calling each other out and saying, "You need to do better," and like this, and that. So, but okay, yeah, definitely also Fox. I don't usually team with Fox that much. I actually did very well with my brother when he was Fox, not when he was Puff back in like 2012 and so. I like wanted him to play Fox instead. And we almost beat Mango and Scar at Zenith 2012, 2013, and then yeah, we didn't. But it was really close.
I remember
Um,
that. Wasn't it down to a 1v2 with Mango? Or
yeah, and then
2v1?
we lost. Yeah, yeah, that was definitely like the saddest moment I think in Smash. I was like, oh, I never actually like. I think I really wanted to yell, but like I couldn't because I was just like so like broken down inside. I can't believe it. That's fun.
You ended up
That's what
getting
happened.
revenge on Scar, though, in singles pretty badly, though, right?
Oh yeah. Well, it was still a 2-1, but like I did very well in some games. I don't exactly know what happened, but yeah, that was cool too. It was that was I think like the first time I really played with Scar. Even though he was from like the East Coast, he was at UPenn. Yeah, I was just like not old enough to like go to colleges to travel back then. My brother did though. Yeah, so he knew him before me.
So you guys have synergy, and like this is your very first national. How did it feel when you guys were playing Honeybox and Axe, who just came off a DreamHack, and this was like winners quarters, I believe.
Yeah, that was winners quarters. So beforehand we were doing really well. Like I thought we beat some good teams too. Like we beat Connor Kira. Oh no, yeah, I think it was Connor Kira and KJH and Duck. And I was like, wow, like I used to not like eat like it was I think there was a 2-0 and a 2-1 in there. But like hey, I felt really comfortable in this. And when we heard we were facing Honeybox and Axe, we just like looked at each other like, well, yeah, they did just win DreamHack, but like, you know what? It's like whatever. And we were just like, again, we were comfortable with each other. So we're just like, yeah, we'll just go on and play. And then winners quarters, we just like 2-0 them. We're like, oh yeah, so yeah, we were able to do it. That's why like we like you could see like after our set ends, we just like looked at each other like, oh yeah, good job, and then like good games to Hungbox and Hack and just left. We didn't really think much about it because we didn't think about it that much in the beginning too. But yeah, once top eight started, that was like I did not like that at all because like we played our first match pretty quickly. It was like me taking our motto, we just got wrecked. And then we had a huge break. And then I couldn't find them in the venue. So I actually had to like run around the entire San Jose convention center to try to find them. And I was like calling on the mic. I was like, we're gonna get DQ'd. They're playing losers quarters on the other side before us because Slocks I can't find them even though we're calling him on a PA. and then they had to play winners finals before our losers quarter set two because Slocks still wouldn't come up to the desk. And then eventually, after like 30 minutes of like trying to find him, he was actually just playing with Hugo on a money matchup the entire time in the middle of all the setups. And no one around him like ever paid attention that he was there. And neither him or Hugo heard like all this calling on the PA. So I was just like, I was actually pretty like heated up. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. Like we almost got DQ'd. And then yeah, we did okay. So so that was kind of funny. Like oh, we I think it was 3-1 against Stargamma and Fruit Loop, which I think wow, they're like really good too. Like I've seen with Fruit Loop just for fun before, and he's really good. Um, and then we faced Hungrybox and Axe again, and they were just coming off 3-2s, 3-2s like repeatedly. So we was like, oh wow, they're definitely going to be harder this time, and they were.
How
But
so?
again, like I just felt like they were able to kill Slocks a lot easier. Like um, and more like Axe was going for more games against Slocks. And when I saw that happening, I was just like, hey, Slocks, you should probably not be in these positions because we just actually just backdoing you and giving you at like 8%. And that's really all it took, just like telling him like, hey, look at this position and can you not do that? And then after that, he just found he actually like easily took care of Axe in terms of spacing and stuff. Because like Pikachu can't actually do that much in teams other than like once you get a grab. So once we actually had space to do things, we were able to win. I was like, oh, okay. And that again stemmed from just like telling him, just like calling him out, as like, hey, hold on a sec, we have to do something different. And that comes against like our good team communication.
Hmm. And then you guys won. You guys double eliminated because usually the winners bracket they don't take
Oh
you as
yeah,
seriously, and
right.
then the losers they put their serious hats on. They're like, we have to win this. They
Mhm.
took us out in winners, and you guys beat them again. So
Right. Yeah. And then I wish our matches, me and Slots against Lisa King Armada and then PewFat went better. We got 3-0 twice, but we were close at times. But, like it wasn't like we were winning at points, but it was like their teams changed up too. So it was just like, oh, we couldn't like figure it out in time in order to take off the game. But that definitely those all those sets were definitely like really helpful, like learning about what to do in teams
I feel
for
that way
sure.
against PewFat. Like sometimes like I'll have leads against them as red with like red, and all of a sudden they do like 2-0 to death combos, and we're behind.
Oh yeah, it's just like okay, yeah. At that point again, it's just like after playing with like such good people for a while, it's just like we just take it like yeah. Sometimes we can get you to death, it just happens.
So we won't talk about singles at Genesis where you lost to PP, which is respectable, and then you lost to Ladanis, who
Yeah.
you're starting to build a mini rivalry with.
Oh, I guess I don't know. I'm always a Sam fan. Like I was always. That was the second time I faced him, and like we have really funny interact because like he's a goofball and like I'm a goofball, so I'm okay with. I was okay. He played very well at Genesis too. Like he did choke against Duck though. And I think like the coolest set I had at Genesis 3 in singles was I beat Santi. I was like, whoa, like I can't believe I did that. Like Santi Ago is amazing, and he played Fox just for me. And I was like, wow, how did I do that? That was definitely like the most like amazing thing I did at the tournament.
I think I commentated that set.
Hmm. Oh yeah, I watched it and I was like, I'm doing really bad options for my ledge, but then I still won somehow.
He was
I did
also
like
doing very bad options.
yeah, for sure. It was definitely like the floating out of the pools was like kind of weird for us. Like we didn't really like we weren't that used to it. And then yeah, somehow I did amazing things. Like I power shielded his Firefox and nared him. I was like, wow, I've never done that before. And I saw that I'm like that was amazing.
So you've been really good, and Crimson Blur and I were talking about you and how like if you lived in SoCal, for example, like people would see you more highly because of just the exposure you get from Super Smash Sundays
Mhm.
and like the mayhems and stuff. Do you feel like you get overlooked because of the region you come from?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely like there was always like East Coast West Coast rivalry. It was like I think it was much more heated back in the day because like we didn't know who was better. And then just because there are like such good people in Cali at the time at times like within like the early 2010s like like Mango Lucky all those guys. And we didn't really have anyone other than like Music King and Hungrybox. Everyone was like, "Oh, West Coast is so much better all the time." And we didn't really have like nationals at that time really either, except for like once a year. So I actually always thought like East Coast was never like that bad. Like we were slightly worse, but like eventually we would catch up to them just because we would have like more tournaments basically. Like there were a lot of like nationals or like not nationals but like regionals in like California, which were bigger than like our entire East Coast tournaments. It was just in one state. So just because like it was more popular in the West Coast, I felt like people thought West Coast was better. And yeah, again, the exposure. But like just like after like talking to again, just like hearing like Zoso like talk, like we had Cactuar to like help us out too. I was like, we're not actually like that bad. And eventually we'll do very well. Like we're not we just don't know exactly like what to do yet. And I think now in 2016, like as we saw in Pound, like a lot of East Coast people did well compared to the West Coast people. And I don't think that's just like you can't just say that's like oh this is because like burnout or whatever. Because like we also traveled a lot this year too on the East Coast, and I think it was eventually a time where like we caught up to them and they would have to take us seriously too.
Hmm. So Pound 2016, how'd you feel about that?
Oh, I
From
felt
singles standpoint.
single standpoint, I felt like crap the entire time. I was like not thinking about like the game itself or like the tournament itself. So my pound experience was really weird. Friday, the day before, I was at school for a dance marathon. It's like our big charity event of the year. And I had to stand up for 12 hours from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And so after that happened, like I went back home, I showered, and then Zangazin and J-Flex picked me up. So like thank goodness to them. Like they're awesome that they picked me up in the morning just because like I couldn't make it the day before and we drove to Pound at that time. So I basically woke up and played my pool within 30 minutes and only had like 3 hours of sleep on the car, which definitely wasn't the best sleep. And yeah, I played pretty bad in the beginning of singles. So the first match was like fine because like some like he was new to the game. And he was like the guy like, oh, I didn't get four stocked by Swedish Delight or like this other guy. And then round two, I played Gas Money from Georgia. He's an ice climbers, and I was like, okay, I've done this before as Sheik versus ice climbers. I just have to like do it again. And then like once the match started, and I threw out two moves, and he wave dashed back, and it's like I'm really not feeling it. So I just like threw the match and went peach. And then like the very first second I go peach, I get wobbled at 0%. I'm like, oh, cool, like I'm really not doing that well, but it's all right. And I was like kind of smiling because like, yeah, I'm not in the best tournament condition, and I realize that, so I'm just gonna play to my best ability. And that's like where all I had to do was like, I'm just gonna play the best I can at this very moment. And I was only thinking about like, oh, dance marathon was still going on that day. So I was just thinking, oh, I wonder how my friends are doing, and they're gonna like show how much money we raised at the end of the night at 9 p.m. So I was just like, I was actually having that on my mind throughout the entire first day. And I think by just like not, I wouldn't say I wasn't caring about the tournament, but I wasn't really caring about how well I would do. I didn't like put extra pressure on myself in terms of like how my results would be as like a top 31 neon ranked player. Then I was just okay with my result. And so like my hardest singles match for sure was with Ua. That was the last match I had to play. He's a Fox from Florida. He's a really nice guy too. I'm really glad I got to meet him. Like we talked on Twitter, like I just want to meet you because like I told him like I'm definitely gonna be like really tired and all that. And he almost won game one. I'm confused how I won. Like I somehow hit him out. He didn't sweet spot the edge, and that's how I won. And then game two, he changed his strategy entirely, and then I three stocked him because he changes up. Um, but after that match, I'm just like, oh, I could still, as long as I get myself into position, I can still like, I have enough muscle memory from before to like do what I need to do. And so again, that like carried me through day two. It's like I just have to do exactly what I've done before, and then I'll do well. And So yeah, day two. Can I talk about day two now?
Yeah.
Fine. So um, day two is really weird because the projected bracket, as you know, was definitely going to be much different than what actually happened. But surprisingly, it worked out towards my favor in a way. So first round, I played Milkman, which that could have been really bad, but apparently 2-day nationals in the morning are like the bane of Fox names. So like he got there a little bit late and like had no time to warm up, and just like I just like completely like I think I double three stocked him. He just like wasn't feeling it at all. So I felt like I wasn't even playing a set at that point. Then Bizarro Flame beat Duck, and I was so happy. But like also, I'm pretty bad against Ganon. I had very close sets with Eichelman before, and the only reason why I won was because he was SD, and so I was like really on my toes all the time. To owe him, I think he was a little bit surprised at how I played too. Just like I just played very basic in general, um, and I'm kind of glad I didn't have to play Duck because I did play him a few weeks before in Michigan, and I got 3-0'd. So that was pretty cool. And then, so now it's top 32, and Ladanus beats West Balls. And I'm just thinking, wow, I'd much rather play West Balls because I haven't lost a set to them. And
Ooh, shots.
no, but like at this point against Ladanus, I got 2-0'd by him at Evo, and I got 3-0'd by him at Genesis 3. And at Evo, like he he played a really huge mental game on me the entirety of Evo. So what he would do is like we haven't really talked before except at Apex 2015. I wanted to talk a little bit, but at Evo he was on like he was the like tweeting at me the entire time like, oh, I can't believe I haven't played Swedish Delight, like the worst pain I've been in like all year. Like, oh, I'm so tired. Like, I don't even have hands anymore. Like, how can I ever play Smash? So he was just like really tricking me in how bad he was. And he's like, I'm so bad right now, James. And in the end, I played a lot worse because I just felt like, how could I play against someone who's like really not feeling it this day? And obviously, he was just like trolling and he just played amazing and just two of me. And then Genesis 3 happened, and I was definitely like not physically the best at that point. I was like really tired. I was a lot of playing at that point, and I definitely wasn't well rested slash used to traveling so much. But I did take a game off PP, so I was like kind of I felt like I was kind of ready against Ladanus. I would do better at him this time. And I actually did play, in my opinion, better. Like I didn't make as many mistakes as Evo, but I got 3-0'd. I'm like, wow, I played very solidly and I got 3-0 still. And I was like, wow, okay. Now I had to play him at Pound 2016. And then I somehow 2-0'd him. I'm like, oh, okay. So sure. I just took it. And then yeah, I really had no idea how I beat him. I was like, um, yeah, I'm just gonna go along with what I'm doing. I was just like, again, I wasn't really caring too much about the tournament. I was thinking more about like school events, just like Starbucks because that's like the only thing I could eat at the time. And another new thing I did, okay, well maybe this matters. Another new thing I did at Pound was like I didn't play any friendlies except when I was forced to. So the only friendly I played was before Landis. I went to Strict Nine's room and played him for a few games. But then afterwards I'm like, I just want to play against a computer, Strict. I'm sorry. So I practiced against a computer like every time before a match. And I felt like that was able to like calm me down because if I messed up against a player, I felt like there'd be like a reaction. But like if I mess up against like a computer player, like, that computer player is not going to talk to me. He's not going to say, "Oh, you need to do this or whatnot," and I'm not going to have to like think about what to say if I mess up. So I think by doing that, I was able to clear my mind against Lordandis, and I was able to do like pretty solidly against him in winners. And so I just kept on going with that. So before Professor Pro, I would just play against the computer. And I was down 2-0 and was like, okay. Again, this is another weird thing. Like Professor Pro was up there in winners quarters because I think PPU was on the same side, but he lost to Gravy. And then Professor Pro beat Gravy.
Got
And
to.
I was thinking, oh, it was Gatsu?
Yeah.
Okay. It was one of them because they were both on our side.
Yeah.
So yeah, I played Professor Pro last year also, and I got 2-0. So these are like players again that just never beat before, and I'm facing them at Pound, and I had beaten Gatsu before, so I'm like, okay, this is actually even though they're ranked below me, this is like very unfavorable for me. and I'm down 2-0, and I'm just like, okay, well that's fine. He's playing. He's like really fast. Like, he's doing very well, and I win the next 3 games somehow. I'm like, okay, so sure. I just took it. I wasn't like I wasn't mad that I was down 2-0. I just thought like this person is playing very good, and I'm like very happy to play someone that's this good. And I think just by keeping my cool like that, I was able to like be able to come back. I don't know exactly how I came back. I guess I have to watch the match, but I feel like that put me in a position to mentally.
Do you feel like you have fraudulent? I forgot that syndrome. Oh, I think Gravy beat Axe, who lost to Professor Pro. That's what happened.
Okay.
And then PP was on the other side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it seems like you undermine your own game because like you may think in your head that you play standard, but like your fundamentals are what carries you. And like it's
Yeah, yeah. That's what Bizarro says. Like, you have very good fundamentals, Swedish. I'm like, oh, thanks. Okay. I don't exactly know what that means though. So I guess again, like I always think, oh, I see all these people travel all the time. They're like practicing hours a day. Lordanis has its home, and I'm playing like in my room for like 15 minutes a day. Like just like make sure I don't get worse. So I'm kind of confused also like how did I get this far? But I just like rolled with it. So as long as I just roll with it, I was doing fine.
so. You know, you've had a couple of close sets with Hungry Box. Like, what's your approach to the matchup? Do you think it's doable? Do you think you can beat him?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So at that point at Pound, that's the third set I had to play with Kung Fox in 2 weeks because he was at Super Nebulous the week before, and I played him then at Winter Semis and Grand Finals, and I was just ready to like lose again, but I was like, I did. I have changed my mindset anyway against Sheik, as Sheik, for sure. I think that's also a reason why I started doing well in terms of like how I was able to roll with things. You know what I mean? Like not get frustrated. So I definitely think Sheik is not a good character anymore. And I was thinking that in the beginning last year. And then I gave Sheik again some hope after Summit because Armada and PP just said like, no, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. Sheik is a very good character. And then Armada was like, at there was one tournament he went Sheik and won against like Lucky, and he, yeah, he just like beat everyone with Sheik through losers. Um, and he used that as an example. Like this is why Sheik is pretty good because I won this tournament for her. And then at the point of Pound, I'm just like Sheik has like no option against anyone, especially against Jigglypuff. And so I was with Armada and like Abu and Duck at Michigan during my spring break, and that was when he told me, like, Armada's like, I was talking to him, like, I don't think Sheik is a good character anymore. And I was like, I think Sheik and Peach go, like, kind of even towards each other. And don't you think, like, Peach is a really bad character, Armada? And he's like, yeah, you're right. I think Peach is really bad. So, yeah, I guess Sheik's not good there either then. So at that point, I was just like, all right, I'm confirmed. Like, the best player in the world is, like, also, like, kind of agreeing with me that Sheik is not that good. So, I went in just thinking like, oh, I just have to do what I can against Hungry Box. Yeah, I don't think Hungry Box is that optimal of a matchup. He plays mainly abusing like Puff's hitboxes other than Puff's punish game. So I was able to like compete with him a bit just because like he wasn't resting me at like every second he could. But again, I do know like kind of the spacing of that matchup because I played Hungry Box before in 2 years ago, I think, at Shuffle 5, the MLG one. And I just remember like, oh, I just had to not do what I did back then, and I'll do better. So I did all right. I was in the lead game one. Game two, I got completely trashed doing the same strategy, and I'm like, oh, so I had to do something different. And the game three, I was up for a bit, and then I lost. But I definitely did better than I did like at Super Nevs and like other times because I felt like just by changing up a strategy and being able to roll with another strategy uh, shows that like I do know what I'm like a little bit doing in this game, kind of. I didn't get three stock again, basically.
Mm.
So that was like I was kind of happy with. Like I was able to think during that.
So you're going to losers. You beat Ladanus again. Ladanus seemed like he was just antsy for a grab. You just stuffed him every time, and then you get the
Oh, is that
mango.
what happened?
Like he was going for predictable grabs, and then you would anti-grab him and kill
Oh,
him.
that's weird. I thought I was in the opposite situation, like during Genesis and Evo. I was like the antsy one. That's kind of funny. Okay, I kind of want to watch my sets, but like I don't like watching my sets because like I have really funny faces. So I don't like looking at me when I do that. But I do it with other people. So I'm definitely gonna try to do it with Abu, just like watching sets because he's been always asking me to like teach him the game somehow. But he knows a lot too. So okay, yeah, I somehow beat him again, even though I had like hilariously bad moments in that set. Like there's a Giphy cat on Twitter of me just like trying to steal a ledge and I just completely fail. I just lose a stock at zero. But yeah, that matchup is kind of weird too. It's like the Sheik definitely loses that matchup for sure. And then yeah, then it goes to Mango, and that was also a very weird set for sure too.
Did you just get excited at one point? Because you took the first two games pretty convincingly. Although, like, Mango was playing a little bit sloppy, you were up 2-0 in the set. Did it ever come
Yeah,
into your mind that you were going to win it? Or that,
I all right, so game one, I was like, all right, if he plays this bad slash this slow, and he was definitely like one of the slowest game one like Fox. Like if you look at him compared to Professor Pro game one, it was both on Dreamland. I was like, that's a huge difference. I was like, all right, I could win if he played this completely awful. And then he was also doing that game two. He just like wasn't. Again, I think he wasn't really just like trying to like avoid me. That's like what he like Westwells would do. They just like try to go in and win. But then like once he was down 4-1, he was like, okay, I can't lose. Like again, he said in an interview, like I can't lose to Swedish Delight here, or else the stream will make fun of me the entire time. So once I got into that last lock on Yoshi's, and it just got completely like out of control harder. One of my like I don't even know how I'm going to win this match when I was up 3 stocks to 1. I was just like, this is crazy right now. And then I somehow won game two, and I just felt like I'm probably going to lose game three on Yoshi's when he comes back to me, or when he counterpicks it back. And I did. I get 2 stocks. And I was just thinking, okay, he's running me down, but whatever I was doing was fine because I won game one too, right? So I went to Battlefield with more space, and he beats me harder because I was just trying the same thing. And I was just like, oh, okay, so yeah. Again, I'm like, I come into that match thinking I'm going to lose anyway, slash my character's worse, so it's okay if I lose. So at this point, I was able to just think like, okay, what do I need to do differently? And I can't go for more grabs and like somehow like block his approaches. So I'm thinking like, I guess Fountain because I'm not going to go to Stadium or FD. And I think I played much better, like contrary to what people say on FOD, even though Mango still destroyed me. But I felt like I was playing against him better. It was just at times he was playing too perfectly. Like I remember during the match, um, I was just like I was hitting him with aerials. I was kind of even with him in the first couple of stocks, and then he just like power shields 3 of my aerial attempts on him, and it's like, well, I can't really win if my all my moves are getting power shielded, right? So it's like that's kind of ridiculous. And there was one time where I was just shielding in the center stage, and he would just run through and down there try to clip me, and he would just keep on going back and forth. I'm just like, wow, this character is really stupid. So I was just like thinking about. I wasn't thinking about like how my stocks were gonna be, how bad I was doing. I was just thinking like about the game itself and like what the characters are doing. It's like, okay, I'll just learn from this as much as I can. And then yeah, I got kind of wrecked game five too. But it was okay. I knew that like I was getting wrecked. Like no matter what I tried, there was no chance. But that's okay. It's okay if that happens.
oh, for you. So you got fourth at this event. You're starting to get good showings. What's in the world of Swedish Delight, who is now not gonna be immediately going to med school for like the next year?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if I don't go to med, like if I get in, then
Oh
I'll
yeah, yeah.
definitely
You still
going.
have that one school.
Yeah, it's still on waitlist, although probably not. It's probably unrejected, but I don't know. They're really late with all that. Um, but that's also pretty good. So I'll just be like applying to med school again, and that'll give me more time. Because now I don't have school. I'll just probably like TA a little bit more, slash like be around college, doing odd jobs here and there. But definitely I'll be able to travel more. So right now my summer itinerary is Gomel, on May 21st, CEO and Evo. And if I don't go to med school, then I'll be able to go to Super Smash Con and Shine. And I really want to go to those the most out of like any of the other tournaments. Um, just because like I heard Super Smash Con was like the best event ever last year. And then Shine is just like uh, I just want to support like the area around me. And Boston's really cool. I really like that city. Um, but yeah, and then yeah, I really don't know what I'm doing anymore. Cause like after Pound, that was like the end of like my Smash tour from spring break. I did go to a tournament last week. I'm like, oh, what do I even do anymore? I'm not going to. There's like two tournaments this weekend, like 10 minutes away from me. I can't even go to those because I have school events. Like, okay, well, whatever. And then I'm not going to the summit either. I would have definitely bought a ticket to go to the summit because it was just such an awesome experience. But I had my formal during that time, and like I guess like other things to go to, and yeah, I really have no idea what's planned for me until I find out about this medical school, and then I'll be able to like plan out more in my life.
Are you yeah, you're like subtly complaining against Sheik. Are you gonna stay him for a while? Like, what's in play for you in terms of characters?
Oh well, I mean, I still like Sheik. I don't like when I say Sheik is a bad character. I mean like she's not Fox or Falco or Marth or Puff. I feel like those four characters are like definitely a tier above all the rest, and Fox might be a tier above Falco, Marth, and Puff too. But I mean, she's okay. You know, I played Peach also against Ice Climbers because I feel like I had to try a lot harder in the Ice Climbers matchup. I don't get to play it the way I want to. But yeah, I think yeah, I'll definitely just be going Sheik for sure because that's my results. But my secondaries are awesome because they were my mains before, and I have so much pride in them. So like, and like everyone thinks Falco is bad right now. I don't know why. So I might bring back the Falco just like to show how stupid it could be. Like someone like me who doesn't really know how to like press buttons fast and combo, I could still just win because Falco has ridiculous hitboxes and a shine. So like I think people just don't like. I think I don't know much about the game, but I feel like people are complaining about the wrong thing about the game when I hear that. I'm like, okay, like that's weird. I'm supposed to not know about this game.
Maybe you do know, but you're underselling yourself.
Maybe I have something like an innate talent that I just have no idea about this game. That's what like Abu and KJH tell me. Like you're so good at getting things. I'm like I really don't feel that way. And that might be like the same. I like resonate with Santiago very well because we both think this way. We're like we shouldn't be where we are in the like on the ranking based on like what we do in this game, like how much we practice slash like put effort. Like as I said, we still put effort. Like we still try very hard, but like more time like yeah time invested basically. Yeah, we're still like beating people, so that's kind of weird.
Do you want to give any shout outs to your journey into being a moderately successful player? Are you aiming to get sponsored in any way? Or are you
Oh,
gonna
that would be really cool because yeah, I feel like there's like definitely getting a sponsor would be good for me in terms of like not really for the monetary wise. I'm pretty fine with that. Like just based on my tournament winnings and like I could like get money from like internships slash like teaching at college. And my parents are okay with supporting me too now. But it's more like I want the sponsorship just because like that shows like people think I really matter in this game, and that'll just give me like a morale boost. And that would also give like tri-state slash East Coast because like we're kind of like in terms of the Smash world, we're like nowhere other than hacks. Everyone loves hacks though, but they don't really think of hacks like New York. they think of just like when they think of Hax, they think of like himself only. They don't think of like his hometown or like the other people in the state. So that would definitely be like the benefits of me getting sponsored. It's just like having our region a little bit more out there. That'd be cool. I don't know any sponsors that like be for me though, but that'd be awesome.
Maybe you could represent Colgate, the toothpaste brand.
That'd be, man. Oh, I'm ending my internship there, dude. It's really hard over there. Like we're in like a really weird time, like crunch time. We need like a really good product out there in toothpaste, and they're having so much like, yeah. There's a lot going on in that industry right now. It's kind of like ridiculous, like how important this toothpaste will be.
Hmm. Do you want to give any shout outs to people?
Oh yeah, shout outs. Shout out to you, Daniel Lee. Thanks for having me on. Definitely the first one. Um, all my friends in New Jersey, all my friends at school, and I guess like, oh, I didn't really get to shout out like the people in the Midwest that much at my turning experiences. It's like we didn't have like, so I went to the Midwest for a few weeks. I went to Sweet. So thank you for Duck and Boo for housing me. That was really great. Thanks for Amada for also like having me like being okay with me like tagging along too. Like it's like your experience there, but I I like hitchhiked on too. Thanks to my brother, of course, not only just for like housing me in Chicago after Michigan, but for just like being my brother. Thanks to Bro. I hung out with Bro like almost every day in Chicago, and he's like one of the founders of Melee every day. And I feel like he is someone to look up to if you want to help support a scene slash like start from the bottom. Like I feel like because he's the runner of Rubicon, and no one would actually like go to Chicago before Rubicon. No one really hears about them, but he really just like got them on the map. And any other shoutouts? But there's like too many people in New Jersey. Oh, shout out to Curb for listening to me. He won a flight to Evo at the last tournament. I just told him like all the stuff I did at Pound, just like to relax. And just by him like playing as relaxed as he needed to be, he beat Eggum to win the tournament. After Eggum reset the bracket in like a really close game 5 finish on set one. And then shout out to Hacks again for like being back and just like being happy again. Really good to see him happy. And yeah, that's all I could think about right now. Oh, I guess shout out to I'm like right now I'm in like a dorm slash like study room area on a different campus because at my house right now there's a party, so it wasn't really loud. So thanks to my kids in my chem lab for bringing me here to do this interview.
Hmm. Well, thank you for taking time out of your weekend to do this. I really appreciate you. And, I can only hope for the best for your...
Yeah, I didn't think it would be this long. Holy crap. It was an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I can't believe you stayed on the line with me that long.
You undersell yourself. So I hope the best for you in your med school and your Smash career while you can still play. Take advantage while you're
Yeah,
studying.
definitely. That's what I felt like too, like entering my senior year. It's like, yeah, this might be my last chance, so.
Alrighty, cool. Well, I'll let you go now. Thanks for coming
Great.
out. And drink
Thanks.
one for me.
All right, yeah, of course.
All right. See you.